Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Hawk Tuah girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
One of Fox News' MAGA pundits with his weird spiky hair said that Kamala Harris is the original Hawk Tuah girl. This is a reference to calls by the right-wingers and MAGA that Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. The Young Turks with Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur broke all of this down. We're going to take a look at some clips of that. This is Chris on Culture. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe, and let's get into it.
Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Hawk Tuah girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
A regular on Fox Business, Alec Lace, made that lewd comment about presumptive Democratic nominee Kamala Harris, essentially referring to her as the original Hawk Tuah girl. Now, for those of you who haven't been following that meme and don't know what it's about, it kind of started after this interview went viral. Take a look.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing. You get me?
Okay, so obviously he was making a reference to oral sex or Kamala Harris engaging in oral sex, even though he got some pushback from his host, his co-host on the show, Dagan McDowell, for being too harsh. He decided, I'm gonna go ahead and double down on Twitter, writing, did I go too far on Fox News calling Kamala Harris the OG Hawk Tuah girl, or am I right over the target? Now, similarly, by the way, last week, or this week I should say, Alex Jones had his own commentary about Kamala Harris. I mean, it's interesting because I do think that if you look at her record, there are areas where they could target her on substance, but they seem to be unable to do that, and instead they're leaning into this kind of garbage.
Oh, we'll just have some type of event in Chicago in a few weeks, and we'll just choose who it's going to be. Though they're saying it's Kamala, and the Clintons and others have saluted her, Obama hasn't. And so that tells you that the fighting's still going on. And Hillary wouldn't have all these hundreds, I couldn't even keep track of them, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, about she had the popular vote and she's the smartest and she deserves it. So don't think they won't try to push Kamala out and put her in, or have Kamala, who's dumber than a box of rocks. She's basically a fleshlight.
Now, where they're getting all this from, Alex Jones and this dude on Fox News, is this all stems from Kamala Harris had a relationship with the mayor of San Francisco 30 years ago. She's married now and has been married. I don't know exactly how long she's been married, but for quite a while. So because she was involved with this mayor, it's that she slept her way to the top. That's what the right wingers are saying. And they tend to say this with successful women in general. There doesn't appear to be any truth to any of this. And, with her involved with the mayor of San Francisco was a long time ago. And so she's had many jobs within government since then. Like Ana Kasparian says, there are real policy things to criticize Kamala Harris on. And the trouble that the Republicans, the trouble that Donald Trump's campaign is in right now is all they're doing is these attacks, personal attacks on Kamala Harris about her race and all of these things, and that she's dumb. Now, it doesn't seem like Donald Trump is attacking her on these sexual things, but these other attacks about her not being black and she's stupid and all this, Trump can't help it. And the pundits and many of the politicians like Nikki Haley, Megyn Kelly, Bill O'Reilly, Candace Owens are saying, basically begging the Trump campaign to try to stick to issues rather than doing these dumb attacks like this that aren't working. Women under 30 are overwhelmingly right now polling for Kamala Harris, and attacking this woman who is the Democratic nominee for president saying she's like the Hawk Tuah girl is going to do nothing to win over any of those people.
Harris is a fleshlight. That's what he did right there. Also called her dumb, which is hilarious from a guy who accidentally sent over all of the data from his cell phone to the lawyer representing the Sandy Hook families. I mean, it's just, okay, you want to call her dumb? Fine. I mean, maybe look in the mirror for a second.
And accidentally showed the trans porn that he was watching on his phone to his audience. Oops.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair to him, he says everybody does that. Okay.
Do they?
Do they? Interesting. So, look, this kind of sexist attack against Kamala Harris is guaranteed to backfire. So there goes all the gains that you had started to make with women, but now. Normally, you have a female candidate, you're just naturally going to pick up some more women voters anyway. Plus, it reemphasizes abortion rights, reproductive rights, which is a huge advantage for Democrats. But now that you have a woman candidate, the number one advantage has become that Republicans, both in media and politics, can't help themselves. So they just keep saying the most sexist, misogynistic things over and over and over again.
And Cenk Uygur is exactly right about this. And this is what I was saying earlier on in the video. The Republicans can't help themselves, and they're going to say she's the DEI candidate and she's stupid and she's not really black. And she's the original Hawk Tuah girl. And all that does is help her, because the average person who isn't a MAGA supporter, isn't a Donald Trump supporter, that's a minority in the country of people who support Donald Trump. The majority of the people in the country, 60% or so of the country, are not going to buy that stuff. Trump and his campaign are doing almost nothing on policy. It's all these personal attacks things. And Donald Trump is saying, well, I'm allowed to do personal attacks because they called me weird. The weird stuff is working because Donald Trump and JD Vance are weird, and a lot of these other Republicans are weird. But her being somebody who slept her way to the top is not working. Her not really being black is not working.
And what that's doing is it's reemphasizing to all the women in the country, they don't like you. And so they always think of you in sexual terms, never in business terms, never in professional terms, never in a respectful way. And you see it so overwhelmingly from the right wing that they're just going to give the election to the Democrats if they keep this up.
Right, what it messages to people overall is that you're never going to appreciate someone who's a woman who's accomplished anything in her life. You're always going to see her as one thing and one thing only, and that's just a sexualized being. And that's, again, not going to be appealing. People have moved on from that kind of mindset. The other thing I want to just quickly touch on is the Willie Brown accusations, because that has been one of the more prominent lines of attacks against Kamala Harris. So just to give you a few examples of what I'm talking about, let's go to this Matt Walsh tweet where he says, Kamala Harris got her start in politics by sleeping with Willie Brown. She became vice president because Biden needed a non-white female on the ticket. Now she likely becomes the Democratic nominee for president because the guy at the top of the ticket has dementia. She's made a career out of begging for handouts from powerful men, a thoroughly unimpressive human being. Then you have Clay Travis saying that Democrats spent 8 years telling us Trump's alleged sex with a porn. Are we really denying that he had sex with Stormy Daniels? I mean, it's so obvious. But anyway, alleged sex with a porn star was major news. So how is Kamala Harris starting her career in politics as a side chick of a married mayor of San Francisco not a hugely important story? And look, I actually never looked into those allegations. I just thought, yeah, that kind of isn't a good look. But it is important to understand the timeline when it comes to Willie Brown. So let's go to graphic 5 here. A Reuters fact check in 2020 confirmed that the pair did actually date from 1994 to 1995, the year before Brown became mayor. Harris went on to become state attorney general before being elected to the US Senate. So kind of just erasing anything that she actually accomplished and chalking it up to, I guess, her sexual acts with someone who went on to be mayor after their relationship.
Yeah, so now we're talking about who these candidates dated earlier in their life. Well, let me quote Modern Relic, one of our members from a couple of days ago. if they're charging that Kamala Harris slept her way to the top, Trump slept his way to the bottom. So while his wife was pregnant and then while she was taking care of their newborn baby, Trump is sexually assaulting a reporter. He's sleeping with porn stars. He got out of Vietnam by pretending that he had bone spurs in his ankle. He can't remember which one, but he did say that his personal Vietnam was orgies he attended at the time and that he avoided STDs and he was super proud of it. Are we still talking about who people dated in the past? Because Trump is like a disgusting guy who brags about all the things he did that were non-consensual and that he did while he was married. So, okay, be careful with the conversations that you start.
That's actually a really good point. Not only is this line of attack against Kamala Harris off-putting for the swing voters that Trump would need to appeal to in order to win, but it also opens up the opportunity of Democrats to weigh in on Donald Trump's promiscuity.
100%. And the last thing is, Matt Walsh said, oh, well, she was begging for handouts from men. What do you think Donald Trump does? He went to the oil companies and said, please give me $1 billion. I'll let you ruin the country. I'll let you destroy the planet. I'll let you do anything, please. And then he went over to Miriam Adelson, and then Miriam dog walked him around the casino at the Venetian. I don't know if she put a little chain on him, but she's like, hey, bitch, if you want my $90 million, you'll do exactly as I told you. And Trump's like, okay, I begged you like I begged your husband, right? So what happened now, tough guy? Your guy begs for money for a living, okay? So don't spare me begging guys for money, because that's exactly what every Republican that you like does.
So these are good points, I think, by Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian. Attacking, the one thing I disagree with them is attacking Donald Trump on his promiscuity isn't gonna work. Everybody knows about this already. The MAGA people don't care. Democrats don't like it, but they're not gonna vote for Trump anyway. So that's a failing argument. But their attacks on Kamala Harris for her sex life in the past is not going to land. The general populace does not share this idea that she shared her way to the top and she has no accomplishments at all. And attacking her on race and just attacking her for being a woman is not going, and being stupid, it's not going to work. So Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are right about all of that. Keep doing that, and she's just going to keep going up in the polls. Their only hope is to listen to these other pundits on the right, Trump's only hope, and try to focus on issues, but Trump doesn't have popular issues with the majority of the country. So what do you think? Do you agree with Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur here of the Young Turks? Are they correct on this, or is Kamala Harris, do you think she slipped her way to the top and is completely invalid as a candidate? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. That helps me to continue to grow this channel, get more views, and make content like this. This is Chris on Culture. I'll see you in the next one.